Hey, it's Ashley, and we are live on Western Fashion Behind the Scenes. And we have a very special guest today from Canada. Dana Herr is here. She's the owner of Ranch Her Boots. I'm so excited. She's a mother, she's a wife, she has amazing things going on with three little cowgirls. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you. So excited to be here. This is like a dream podcast for me.
It is a dream podcast if you are in the Western fashion world.
Mhm.
Tell how you fit into that world and what you have going on.
I guess I did fit into it through just living on a ranch my whole life. I'm a fifth generation rancher here in Southern Alberta. We've got a cow calf ranch, and I that's how I did fit into it. I grew up rodeoing, cutting, trick riding, and now I'm fitting into the Western side of it with the boot company that came to light overnight.
Okay, overnight. Tell me a little bit about how it happened and where you're at now and where you were. Because I watched your evolution, which has been very impressive, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been the really cool part about Instagram. I fought it for a really long time, and I had a really good friend of mine reach out in 2020 and say, "Look, I know you don't wanna do this, but you need an Instagram page. You can really reach so many more people. It's so much less political." So I just did it, thinking nothing of it, which is why it's called Her Wild Drags right now. And then, yeah, but, like, the community it can reach is just, like, unbelievable. So it started through Instagram, honestly, because I was just scrolling through. I think actually it was January 1st of 2021. I saw this really great pair of boots. I think I'll give myself this bit of credit that I've always had an eye for what looks good. So I saw this really great pair of boots with double stitch leather sole. The shape was stunning, classic, and they were full cowhide. Now, I didn't know how much I loved cowhide. I've always loved cowhide, but I didn't know how much I liked it. I reached out, and then it from that stemmed to the offering of me being able to design off of that shape, kind of the same boot, but with my designs. So then, of course, I'm going to pinks, reds, turquoises, like rough out, like suede. I've just always really loved those boots. And back before online shopping was as great as it is now, I had a really hard time finding anything like that. That's where it came from. And then it was like, oh, do you want your own boxes? We could get you your own boxes. And then, what do you want to name yourself? I'm like, I don't know, Rancher Boots. It's fitting with my last name being Herr. It's nobody can really copy it, truthfully, set me aside. So yeah, that's just how it happened. And then from there, it's just really snowballed on me. I created the women's cowhide Lechera right as I was designing my first cowboy boots. And it was just it's funny now because the manufacturer I was with said they didn't wanna do it. It was, like, weird looking, like, they didn't want a part of it, and then I was like, "Just do it. Just do the sample. We'll talk about it after." And that was, like yeah, that was history.
Okay, so it's amazing. And I want to unpack this a little bit for people who don't know exactly
Yeah.
what Ranch Her is. So, Ranch Her is
Right.
a boot company and it's also
Mhm.
a wild rag company. You have sourced your own and you've built your own little empire of boots. And it started, yes, with this Lechera. What did you call it? Is it that the right word?
Yeah, so that's just what it was called, and I've just stuck with it. It's just a Lechera Model. So that's
Yeah.
just, like, the
And
model
it's a
of
round toe and it
yeah.
has a cowhide and a round toe. So if you haven't seen this, I'm going to put the link to it in the YouTube and in the podcast so that you
Okay.
can click on it and you can see it and we can talk about more about that. So you start this boot company because why did you start a boot company though? You just wanted to design boots because you couldn't find the ones you wanted?
I never wanted to start a boot company, actually. That was never a goal of mine. I think I've always loved really cool things. From a very young age, I've bought things and changed them, or I've found things and got them tailored, or I've got custom maker to make me something that I saw, but in hot pink, or just a bunch of different things. That has always been a part of me and really just come to life through the company. It was just like I said, when the opportunity was presented, to design my own cowboy boots. It was like I use cowboy boots every day, and I love just like a pop of color. I love a statement piece. I love a conversation piece. So why wouldn't I? I've got so many ideas in my head. Why wouldn't I jump on that?
Yeah, for sure. How many pair of boots in your closet now that you own
There's probably 20 to 25, which is not huge, but I actually just have a sample wall. And that's where a lot of my designs come to life. And we either can't keep up with what's going on right now. So they're on kind of back burner or they're one ups. So I actually have people come to my house and shop and buy off my sample wall, which is really cool for me because I feel like I really like them, but if they have to go to a different home, that's okay with me too. Like I really like making people's day. So that's the name of the game for the Rancher Boot Company is make people's day, make people happy. Yes, 2025. And then I've got about two that I actually work in right now until they wear out. I've got the Barbie girl. Obviously, I'm like partial to a pink boot. And my mom's memorial boot that I did for her. And it's got just feathers on the top and it's in teal for ovarian cancer. Yeah, those are really special to me too. And they're going to be trashed here soon. But I do plan on actually making another wall in my house of all of our wore out boots, like my kids and myself, just to show kind of the progression over the years. I just think an old pair of boots has so many stories.
I love this. So where can we find your boots if we want to find them right now, if someone wants to buy them?
So right now, I've got a lot of smaller boutiques and stores carrying them. It has been my mission for far too long to get them a place on my website, a retailer section like find here. That's just in progress. Like we've got so much going on. Some of that stuff just falls to the wayside. But so where you can probably find best is my approved highlights on my Instagram profile. I really try to showcase anybody that does choose to carry my boots and obviously go through me as an approved seller. So I'll always share their stories when they get restocks. If they've got 1.6.5 left, I'll promo that so they can get rid of it. So that's where you can find stores that carry all over Canada and the States. And then obviously my website, my retail website, I get restocks when everybody else is taken care of. I usually get a restock every now and again. And then I'm excited to actually be offering outlet pairs soon on my site as well. So I'll have the Rancher outlet and then just occasional retail pairs.
I love this. This is so exciting. How many styles do you have total since you started?
I would say somewhere under probably 30 styles in my cowboy boots. My lace up boot is coming to life right now, and that's going to be a game changer for me as far as design goes because I can really run wild with that. And I'm so excited to get kids out there because that is so fun to me. There's nothing more fun than a little girl running around in hot pink boots. You know what I mean? With cowhide on the top. Like that is, I'm obsessed with that. My cowhide Lechera, like for now, it just remained the same. I mean, it's gotten better with my new manufacturer that I'm with. I'm really happy with the quality change and it's really tightened up in a lot of ways. I'm super happy with that, but that's the classic. That's the original. That's the baby of the brand. And then from that, I hope to start some different collabs with just different elastic colors and different leathers and all that kind of stuff. It just opens up a whole new world of all the things that are in my head.
I love this. So do you have a pair of the Lechera that you can show me that we can, because we're going to put this on YouTube too. So this is the Lechera. This is the style.
Lechera. So this is the cowhide Lechera.
Beautiful. Round toe, double stitching, super nice sole, like looks really comfy.
Yeah, so this is our crepe sole, and I really like this sole. A lot of people, I've had really good feedback on it. I think it's a look, it's a vibe in itself, this crepe sole. I don't see a lot of it, mostly in men's work boots. So that's what I wanted to stick with is that crepe sole. We're just in the process right now of actually tweaking it a little bit so that it can handle moisture even better. Obviously, I do say that these are great in any weather. You pressure wash them off. I've got a ton of videos of that. But over time, obviously, they're going to break down with moisture because the crepe is like super porous. So we're looking at how to change that, but keep the look, keep the style, keep the comfort. Yeah.
Okay, I love this. Where did you get your first pair of boots? I have to ask this question too, because we have the Western Fashion Behind the Scenes podcast. We also
Okay.
have the Cowboy Boot podcast where we talk
Okay.
about where you got your first pair.
I'm assuming somewhere along the line when I was little, because obviously growing up on a ranch, I've been riding my whole life, working on the ranch my whole life. But the first pair that I remember and really liking, I got at the National High School Finals in New Mexico. And we were just walking the trade show. Remember, we were looking for something for my mom because she had to stay home and take care of the ranch while dad went down with me and then my now husband, Kobe. So we were cruising around looking for boots for her. And I come across this sort of like bigger square. The bigger square was just coming in. I remember the wide square, a taupey tan, pinky almost gator. And I remember putting them on and it was just like, this is a slipper. And I don't know if I'd ever had a true leather sole with kind of the nice welt stitch along the side. And I just thought, I can't I don't even want to take these off. And I was like a sneaker girl. I'd exercise horses in runners. I did chores in runners, just pretty much everything until I got on my cutting horse to show and got on my rope course to rope in high school rodeo and stuff like that was runners. And then I got to trick ride in runners. So that was nice. But that was my first pair that I actually really remember being like obsessed with. And then I picked my mom out some lizard belly, actually ones that were from the same manufacturing. And yeah, those I stuck with those for a long time. They were my go-tos. And I remember thinking, no, like I remember even thinking back then, it's funny because I remember thinking I could do better. Like they're good, but I can do better.
You've always been destined to be a boot designer and a boot maker. And you know
I
what,
yes.
Andy, after I'm listening to you, what it really is confidence, right? You love helping women feel confident, and those boots helped you
Yeah.
feel more confident than you'd ever felt in your whole life. And that's
100. Yeah.
changing. I believe that boots are part of your personality, right? And they create an opportunity for you to show the world who you are. So when I saw
Yeah.
the rancher boots and I saw all of the cowhide you have, I'm obsessed, right? I grew up on a horse ranch in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
My father's an outfitter. So I really appreciate all of the Western traditions and helping people get to know and understand them and then feel confident
Totally.
picking out a pair of cowboy boots, picking out things. So how do your cowboy boots fit? This is something we haven't talked about, but are they what size of shoe do you wear in an athletic shoe? Runner.
So I'm a true eight in a runner in a shoe. So this has been a bit of a like a sore spot for me with just the exponential growth that's had to happen over the last 2 or 3 years. Right off the hop, my original manufacturer, I found that they were fitting half a size big, all my boots, my cowboy boots and my Lechera. So I'm a true eight. I was fitting 7.5s. And that's how I was advertising. Or you could fit a true eight with an insole, but you would need an insole for sure to tighten everything up. So I trained my people to fit like that. And then with this recent switch, it's been really tough to drive home now that they're true to size, but I do think everything happens for a reason. And I think long run, this is for a reason. Obviously, it's way easier to advertise just cowboy boots and boots in general if people just know they're true to size. I always find with Blundstone, as amazing as they are, it's like you go in and you're like, am I a 23? Am I a 27? Am I a 25? What does this even mean? All the Australian sizes or whatever. So once you find your size in it, great. Then you just reorder that size. But to initially come on board to Blundstone, you're like really confused. And especially if you're going to try to order online, it's just like a crapshoot the first time.
I think it's a crapshoot with any cowboy boot company the first time. And that's why I do this podcast. So I have an obsession with the idea that there is no size standard across the world for shoes, specifically
Mhm.
cowboy boots. And so we try to help people understand. So for you specifically right now, all your boots are
Yeah.
fitting true to size.
Yeah. And so I actually don't have any cowboy boots or lace ups kids or men's out with this new manufacturer yet because we are like full steam ahead trying to get these cowhide lecheras out. So that is the only one I can confirm is true to size right now, but we're working on everything else being true to size too. So it's not confusing. We're working on bringing up the rest of the stuff in the same light.
Yeah. And I think that's great. I think that there is a piece of education that's missing from the
Mhm.
sales. I call it edutainment, right? Where you're educating and entertaining your customer. So I'm
Huh.
excited to work with you on that because I feel like there's so many women in the world who that's all they need is a little bit of education to buy them.
Yeah.
And most of
For
them are a little
sure.
bit nervous. So it's
Yeah.
really fun. I see that you have three girls, right? So you're like, I
I
want the next generation of women to be powerful, confident, strong.
totally.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing to make sure that happens and how you help your girls. How old are your girls?
So 9, just about 7, just about 4. There's a lot of sass in this house, my poor husband. But you know what? I do feel like he deserves this. I do. Like he's he's a rough and tumble cowboy. Like we've been together since high school rodeo and I love him to pieces. And it couldn't have been better for him to have 3 little cowgirls. He's really excited to bring them up, like, to be handier than the boys, and, so far, they're really proving that they're gonna make it, like, they're tough on their horses, they're starting to rope, they're loping all over the place. My little 3-year-old just lopes everywhere she goes and thinks it's the best thing ever, so they do, I think, have that little spark that's gonna make them really handy little cowgirls. My mom, which I didn't really appreciate until her passing, that she raised my sister and my brother and I to be okay without her. She got us to a place, obviously, like she passed away when we were like our mid to like late 20s, but I'm okay. I'm okay without her. And I really want my girls to have the same sort of upbringing. And I don't know exactly how she did that, but she did instill this confidence and this sort of presence that she was just always here with us. So that's my main goal is with my little girls is just to give them the keys to being confident women and to be unapologetically themselves all the time and still be very kind. Make somebody's day if you can, but they will be okay if I'm not here. That's my main goal.
That's a powerful way to put that. I don't hear a lot of women talk about it that way. You seem to have a really good grasp on how death and how transformation works, and that it's not the end, it's just a different relationship. Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about your mom. Can you tell me a little bit about that? That is
Mhm.
so empowering that you have the boots that are made for her. That's amazing that she
Yeah.
can live on in that legacy.
Yeah, what I always try to come back to her, and she loved this way of life. She moved here from England as a little girl and met my met my dad in elementary. So they were together their whole lives. She grew up on the ranch like a town girl. So she took tons of clinic. She really wanted to learn. She bought good horses. So I really admire her for that because for me, I've just grown up in it and it's just second nature. And I can't imagine what it would be like to actually just learn all of this stuff. Yeah, there was that. And then, so that's why I try to circle her back around because I know she would just love everything that's going on. And I like to do little fundraisers and stuff too with my wild rags. Right after she passed, we did a fundraiser and I sewed up all these teal rags and had them embroidered with the little cancer ribbon in the corner. And we raised like quite a bit of money and gave it to the Jackie Eady Center in Lethbridge that she spent a ton of time getting chemo treatments at. And then same thing with these boots. I really wanted to just give back somehow and get her like her memory and her presence out there. And I know this affects so many other people too. So if it resonates with somebody else and it helps somebody else when they go to put on their boots and they remember their friend or they remember their mom, like why not? That's what life's about. So this last fundraiser with these boots, so we actually we helped a family get to Heart of the Horse, which is a really great event, and it's happening in Brooks again this year. One of my best friends, Nikki, puts it on. Obviously, in the Western world, I think Nikki Flandra is a name, a stage name. So if you don't know, go check her out. And yeah, we helped a family kind of being affected by cancer get there with some tickets and some cash and take the clinics and just help them to come away from the grind of what cancer is every single day.
This is amazing. So your legacy is already leaving itself, and you are building the boot company around a legacy, which is
Mhm.
really empowering. Have you attended any retreats or have you gone to any women's events where you loved them or you didn't love them? Or are you going to have your own? I'm excited to figure this part out.
Yeah, I don't I don't know how to say this. I'm not really a hangout person. I don't do coffee. I don't do play groups. And not because I don't think those are super beneficial, especially like women's community and things, but I'm much better on my own. And maybe it would be different if I didn't have my sister and I didn't have a good backing from my family, but I just really feel like I have a ton of support from like my core people. So I never do any retreats or any hangouts or anything like that, but it's not something I'm opposed to. It's just not my style. I don't know, I just don't do it.
That's okay. I think that's fair. I don't do a lot of it. I've done some. I haven't done some.
Yeah.
A lot of women who are like, we want to do all this women stuff. And some of them were like,
Mhm.
yeah, I have a small group of friends and I really enjoy that. So I appreciate.
Yeah. And I'm happy like, the thing that makes me happy is, like, talking about my boots. I answer a ton of Instagram messages and questions and stuff, and that to me is a fun community to be in because it's really talking about what I love to do, and it's getting that person that 7.5 that they've been waiting for 6 months, and that makes me really happy to do, and like you said, gives them confidence to somebody else that they're just, like, searching for.
Who do you admire? Who do you look up to? There's someone that is actively doing work that you admire.
Ree Drummond, like the pioneer woman, I have loved her since day one, since the first cookbooks, just because I found her so relatable. Like I'm serving up biscuits on the back of the tailgate sometimes too, or like bringing out dinners to the fields to the guys harvesting. And that became my role, especially when mom got sick, is to really buckle down on feeding the guys around here when I could. And that was something I could do with having small babies because I wasn't out on a horse anymore or like doing any of that work because I was a slave to naps for literally like 8 years. So I could relate to her and I loved her cooking. Obviously, like it's based on butter. So how could you not? And now that with the company where it is, I really look to her because I think she's stayed so grounded through it all. Like she's literally blown up and she's stayed so true to herself, her flowers and her cooking and just like her vibes, her kids. And I want to know more. Like I want to know how she's doing that because to me, from an outsider looking in, she's still got this cowboy that doesn't have Instagram, doesn't have social media, just wants to be on the ranch, doing his thing. And she's over here on Chop doing her big thing. And I just think she's done such a good job in raising her kids while growing this massive company that she has. Her kids look so lovely. They look so respectful. They look like great humans. I'm interested in that, how that fit for her, where the balance was to achieve all of that.
You'd be a good one to have a panel with her at an agriculture event for women to understand their confidence because it is hard, right? How do you balance it all? And I bet you, if
Yeah.
you sat down with her, she would say, "Oh my gosh, I don't have anything." And but it looks like I
Yeah.
do. And so, Dana, you have been so fun today. This has been great. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. No, it's been awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm going to catch up with you also. So tell me, let's finish. As far as your lead time goes, if someone orders boots right now on the website, can they get them? Do you have some in stock or are we on the wait still? Just to be clear.
So my outlet's gonna go up hopefully this weekend, and there's just a few pair on there. And then I hope to restock a decent restock next week. So what you'll find on my website is anything that's on there is individually pictured and it is ready to ship. It's in my house.
Okay.
So yeah. So then other than that, we're just going to restock all the wholesalers here right away. So you're going to start to see them spread throughout the States and Canada into all the boutiques that have been waiting so long to get their hands on a pair. So that's super exciting.
Yay. It is
Yeah.
exciting. Can you mention a few of the boutiques? Or I'll get a list from you of the boutiques that have them and I'll
Yeah.
put it in the comments so that they can have some love and exposure. It's always challenging to do retail and wholesale. And I also think it's a
Yeah.
necessary part of what's going on. So I believe that supporting women is supporting women. And if you're going to support
Yes.
someone, then you figure out how to wrap your head around supporting them through retail and through wholesale. So I'm
Well, I
excited.
can't do this on my own, right? Like I really cannot physically ship out thousands of pairs on my own. I don't want to do that. I want to go ride my horses. I want to go take my kids here and there, rodeo with my husband in the summer. So honestly, they're helping me. They're helping me grow. And at the same time, they're getting slammed with all these customers that are looking for the cowhide lechera. And if they're close to them or in shipping range, they get the business. And I love that.
You are the cowhide queen for sure. I have to ask, how do you keep your mental sanity? Like, what special trick do you have that you're like, this is what I do every day to make sure that I'm forward?
Well, my husband's been a big push. We rent the indoor arena in our small town that's a 20-minute drive in. And he's been a big push to just get me back on my horses. And it's not been really something I've been able to do in the last few years because I have had babies and naps and all the things. It's not like I could have done it any sooner, but organically it's fallen into place again. And he's so helpful because I literally run around my house with my head cut off like all morning doing business stuff, boot stuff, packing, shipping. And then there's all the laundry and the cooking and the cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And then I literally just get in my car and drive to town and he's got all my horses saddled. And we ride for a couple hours, we rope, and I'm working on some barrel horses and stuff. And that to me, as hard as it is to get into town to actually do that, it's like photo finish every time. It's so relaxing once I'm there. So that's been a big help for me is just getting them back on my horses and just doing something other than answering messages and designing and that kind of stuff.
Dana, that's impressive. You give me cold chills because it takes a lot. Congratulations on getting where you're at. And I'm excited to see where you're going. I can't wait. We'll have to catch up in a few months and
Yeah,
see
I
you
love
make
it.
progress.
I hope there's progress. Oh my gosh. It's like excruciatingly slow, but so fast that it's been a blur, like all in the same sentence. So
It's a hurry up and wait. Wholesale retail game is a hurry up and wait. And it is the worst kind of feeling sometimes. So
yeah, and I'm a people pleaser. Like I really want when somebody messages me, "Are the blue jean baby coming back? Is the black Betty coming back? Are you going to do these in Rada again?" It's just like I really want to. It's just I promise you, it's more frustrating for me than it is for you. I seriously just want to put these out, but they have to be right. So we're just redesigning, we're perfecting the lace up the cowboy boot, like I said, the men's, the kids. And once they're right, they're going to be right and it's going to be amazing. But for now, the cowhide Lechera is like carrying us through.
That's exciting though, because we're creating a storm around it in a good way. If you can't get it, sometimes that's
Yeah.
but it sounds like you're almost there and your wholesalers are going to get restocked. So if you're listening to this
Yes.
and you are seeing this, it is February of 2024. We're going to time mark this because we want to show you her progress because we know that Dana Herr is going far in the cowboy boot world. I'm so excited that you are a woman owned cowboy boot company. And this is amazing and fun all in itself. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This is Ashley on Western Fashion Behind the Scenes. And if you loved what you heard today, make sure you go and share this podcast. Today, we had Dana Herr, the owner of Rancher Boot Company. She's a mom and a wife. She lives in Canada and she's amazing. If you loved what you heard today, make sure you go and share this podcast. And just remember, it's always a good time to wear cowboy boots.